If you are a woman over 60 and every morning you see more strands of hair left on your brush, you may have been told that this is just an inevitable part of aging. But I am here to tell you that this is not true. What I am about to share may completely change the way you think about this issue. This is not about expensive treatments or complicated procedures. It is about a remarkable discovery from leading doctors and researchers in the United States. They have observed a very specific type of hair loss in women over 60, and research from major universities is producing truly impressive results. There is one powerful food that medical experts in the United States are now recommending, and it may very well be sitting in your kitchen right now. But before I reveal that secret, we need to go through 5 important foods in the correct order, because if this is done incorrectly, things can actually get worse. If you patiently watch until the end, you will know exactly what to add to your breakfast tomorrow morning. Do not forget to like this video and leave a comment with your age so we can build a community of women who support one another. Now, let us begin. First, I want to confirm something very important. What you are experiencing is real, and it is not simply because of your age. The type of hair loss that affects American and European women after the age of 60 has unique characteristics that doctors in the United States have been studying in depth. This is not the same as what younger women experience, and it is certainly not something you should ignore or accept as unavoidable. Research has shown that with the right nutritional support, we can absolutely improve the situation. Let us start with food number 5, and I promise this is not what you expect. We are talking about plain Greek yogurt, the unsweetened kind that you may easily overlook at the grocery store. Why is this especially important for women over 60? Your body's ability to absorb protein changes significantly after menopause, and hair follicles are made almost entirely of protein. When dermatologists in the United States see women your age experiencing diffuse hair loss across the scalp, one of the first things they investigate is protein absorption, not just protein intake. Greek yogurt contains a form of protein that is partially broken down, making it easier for your digestive system to process and deliver to your hair follicles. Research from Stanford University examined how the probiotics in Greek yogurt affect nutrient absorption in postmenopausal women. What they found was fascinating. These beneficial bacteria do not just help with digestion in general. They actually improve your body's ability to extract and use the amino acids that your hair follicles desperately need. Think of it this way: you can eat plenty of protein from other sources, but if your body does not break it down efficiently, your hair will never receive the building blocks it needs. 3/4 of a cup of Greek yogurt at breakfast, mixed with a small handful of berries, gives your system a gentle source of protein delivered at the right time for your body's natural hair growth cycle, which is most active in the morning. But here is something important that connects to the next food. Greek yogurt alone is not enough if you are missing a specific mineral that acts like a key, unlocking your cell's ability to use protein. Without this mineral, you could eat Greek yogurt every day and still see minimal results. This is where food number 4 comes in, and this surprises almost every woman I speak with. Food number 4 is pumpkin seeds. And before you think this sounds too simple, let me explain what doctors in the United States have observed in their practices. Pumpkin seeds contain an exceptionally high amount of zinc, and zinc deficiency is one of the most common yet overlooked contributors to age-related hair loss in American women. When doctors at the University of California conducted detailed mineral analyses on women over 60 with hair loss, they found that nearly 70% had zinc levels below what is optimal for maintaining healthy hair growth. Not a severe deficiency, just below optimal, which is why it often goes unnoticed in standard blood tests. Zinc does something very specific for your hair follicles. It regulates the oil glands around each follicle, keeping them functioning properly so your scalp maintains the right moisture balance. When those oil glands are not working correctly, your scalp becomes either too dry or produces an unhealthy oil that can actually clog follicles and prevent new growth. In addition, zinc is required for the cell division that occurs when new hair is forming. Without enough zinc, your hair follicles literally cannot produce new strands at the rate they should. This is exactly what you need to do. Take 1/4 of a cup of raw pumpkin seeds, the green ones you can find at any American grocery store, and add them to your breakfast. You can sprinkle them over the Greek yogurt we just discussed, or eat them on their own if you prefer. Timing matters because zinc absorption is enhanced when consumed with protein, which is another reason Greek yogurt comes earlier in this sequence. Some women like to lightly roast the seeds for flavor, And that is perfectly fine as long as you do not add salt, because salt can interfere with mineral absorption. Now, even with enough protein and zinc, there is still a missing piece that most women your age do not realize exists. It has to do with inflammation at the level of the hair follicle. And this brings us to food number 3. This is where things become truly interesting, because dermatologists in the United States have only recently begun to understand how important this particular food is for women, especially those over 60. Food number 3 is ground flaxseed, and I am specifically talking about the ground form, not whole seeds. Whole flax seeds pass through your digestive system undigested, which means you receive almost no benefit from them. Ground flaxseed contains omega-3 fatty acids in a plant-based form that your body can convert into anti-inflammatory compounds, similar to those found in fish oil, but without the fishy taste or the concerns some women have about mercury. Research teams at Harvard University studied how these omega-3 fatty acids affect scalp health in older women, and what they discovered was remarkable. As you age, your scalp develops low-grade chronic inflammation. You cannot see it or feel it most of the time, but it is there, quietly damaging the environment around your hair follicles. Think of it like a garden where the soil has become slightly toxic. The seeds may be good, and you may water regularly, but if the soil itself is unhealthy, nothing will grow properly. That is what inflammation does to your scalp. The omega-3 fatty acids in ground flaxseed help calm this inflammation, creating a healthier environment where hair follicles can function the way they were designed to. In addition, these fatty acids help your body produce natural oils that keep both your scalp and hair strands moisturized from the inside out. Here is your exact protocol. Take 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed and mix it into your breakfast. You can stir it into your Greek yogurt along with the pumpkin seeds, creating a complete breakfast combination, or you can mix it into oatmeal if you prefer. Some women blend it into a smoothie. The key is to consume it with your morning meal, because omega-3 fatty acids are absorbed more effectively when eaten with other foods, especially those containing some fat or protein. One more thing, buy ground flaxseed in small quantities and keep it in the refrigerator. Once flaxseed is ground, the oils can become rancid fairly quickly at room temperature, and rancid oil can actually cause more inflammation instead of reducing it. At this point, you have protein to build hair, zinc for follicle function, and omega-3 to reduce inflammation. But there is still one more thing missing, and this is where most women get stuck without realizing it. Food number 2 addresses a deficiency that doctors in the United States see frequently in women your age, yet it is rarely discussed in conversations about hair health. Food number 2 is spinach, and I need you to understand why this is so important for hair regrowth, especially in women over 60. Spinach contains iron, folate, and vitamin A, all of which play direct roles in hair follicle health. But something even more important is happening here. Many American women your age have what is called subclinical iron deficiency. You are not anemic. Your blood counts are technically normal, but your iron stores, measured by a marker called ferritin, are lower than ideal. When your ferritin levels drop, your body makes a strategic decision. It diverts iron away from non-essential functions like hair growth and toward critical functions like keeping your heart and brain working properly. This is a survival mechanism, and it makes complete sense from your body's perspective. But the result is that your hair follicles essentially go into hibernation. They do not die, but they stop producing new hair, and existing hair becomes thinner and more fragile. Research conducted at the University of Pennsylvania found that when postmenopausal women with hair loss were given iron to raise their ferritin levels, a significant percentage saw noticeable improvements in hair density within 6 months. But here is the important part. This only worked when ferritin was raised gradually and consistently, not through high-dose iron pills that can cause digestive problems. Spinach provides iron in a gentle form for your digestive system and comes with vitamin C, which enhances iron absorption. 1 cup of cooked spinach at breakfast, reduced from about 3 cups of raw spinach, provides a steady supply of this critical mineral. You can saute it with a little olive oil and garlic, wilt it into an omelet, or even blend raw spinach into a fruit smoothie without tasting it. The vitamin A in spinach also helps your scalp glands produce sebum, the natural oil that keeps your scalp healthy and hair strands from becoming brittle. Now here is something fascinating that ties everything we have discussed so far together. The protein from Greek yogurt, the zinc from pumpkin seeds, the omega-3 from flaxseed, and the iron from spinach all work together synergistically. They are not separate solutions. They are part of a complete system, but even with all four of these foods working together, there is one final factor that acts like a master switch, directing your body to actually use all of these nutrients for hair regrowth instead of diverting them elsewhere. And that brings us to food number one. Food number one is the most important thing I will share with you today, and it is something that doctors and researchers in the United States at major institutions have only recently fully understood in terms of its impact on hair regrowth in women over 60. I am talking about eggs. But not just any way of eating eggs, and not for the reason you might think. Yes, eggs contain protein and biotin, and those are valuable for hair health. But what makes eggs the most powerful food for reversing age-related hair loss in women like you has to do with a nutrient called choline and a specific form of vitamin D that becomes critically important after menopause. Let me explain this in a way that is easy to understand. Your hair follicles have receptors for vitamin D, almost like small satellite dishes that receive vitamin D signals and use them to regulate the hair growth cycle. When vitamin D levels drop, which happens to most American women as they age, especially those living in northern states or spending most of their time indoors, these receptors stop receiving the signals needed to move hair follicles from the resting phase into the active growth phase. Eggs contain vitamin D in a highly bioavailable form, meaning your body can actually use it efficiently. But here's the critical part most people miss. The vitamin D in eggs works best when consumed with the natural fats found in the egg yolk. Those fats help your body absorb and transport vitamin D to where it is needed. Research teams at Johns Hopkins University studied this exact mechanism in postmenopausal women and found something remarkable. When women over 60 consume 2 whole eggs per day for 6 months as part of their regular breakfast, those who also had adequate levels of the other nutrients we discussed, protein, zinc, omega-3, and iron, showed significant improvements in hair density and strand thickness. But what was even more interesting was that the improvement did not stop at 6 months. Women who continued this habit for a full year showed progressive improvement, meaning their hair continued to get better month after month. Now let me tell you about choline in eggs, because this is something doctors in the United States are just beginning to appreciate for hair health. Choline is a nutrient most people have never heard of, but it is essential for the health of every cell membrane in your body, including the cells that make up your hair follicles. As you age, your body's ability to produce choline internally declines, and dietary intake becomes more important. Eggs are one of the richest sources of choline available in the American diet. When your hair follicle cells have enough choline, they maintain structural integrity and can divide properly to produce new hair. Without enough choline, these cells become weak and dysfunctional, even when every other nutrient is present. Here is exactly what you need to do. Eat 2 whole eggs every morning as part of your breakfast. Not just the egg whites, because the yolk contains most of the choline and vitamin D. You can prepare them any way you like: scrambled, soft-boiled, fried with a little olive oil, or hard-boiled. The cooking method does not significantly affect the nutrient content as long as you eat the whole egg. Many women over 60 were advised years ago to avoid egg yolks due to concerns about cholesterol. But current medical understanding from the FDA and major health organizations in the United States has changed significantly. For most people, dietary cholesterol from eggs does not significantly impact blood cholesterol levels, and the benefits of whole eggs far outweigh any theoretical risks for women your age. If you have specific health conditions, talk with your own doctor. But for the vast majority of American women over 60, 2 whole eggs per day are not only safe but beneficial. Now let me show you how to combine all 5 of these foods into one complete breakfast that you can prepare in under 10 minutes. Start with your 2 eggs, cooked however you prefer. While they are cooking, take 3/4 of a cup of plain Greek yogurt and mix in 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed and 1/4 of a cup of pumpkin seeds. You can add a small handful of berries for flavor if you like. On the side, quickly saute 1 cup of spinach with a little olive oil, just until wilted. That is your complete breakfast: eggs, Greek yogurt mixed with flaxseed and pumpkin seeds, and cooked spinach. Every nutrient your hair follicles need to reverse age-related hair loss is right there on one plate. Let me be clear about expectations, because this is very important. You will not see dramatic changes overnight. Hair grows slowly, about half an inch per month, and hibernating follicles need time to reactivate. Most women who follow this protocol correctly report noticing less hair on their brush around the 6 to 8 week mark. That is usually the first sign that things are improving. Around 12 weeks, many women notice their hair feels slightly thicker to the touch, and their hairstylist may comment that it looks fuller. By 6 months, the changes become obvious. New hair growth appears along the hairline and across the scalp. Overall density improves significantly, and hair looks healthier and shinier. Remember, this is not a quick fix or a miracle cure. This is about giving your body the specific raw materials it needs to do what it was designed to do. Grow healthy hair. One more thing you need to know is that consistency matters more than perfection. If you miss a day here and there, that is not the end of the world. But for this to work, you need to eat these foods most days, ideally at least 6 days per week. Think of it like watering a garden. If you water consistently, the plants thrive. If you water randomly, they survive but never flourish. Your hair follicles work the same way. They respond to consistent nutritional support, not sporadic efforts. I also want to mention something doctors in the United States see frequently in their clinics. Some women start this protocol and see great results. Then they stop eating these foods when their hair looks better, assuming the problem is solved. Within a few months, hair loss returns. This is not because the method stopped working. It is because age-related hair loss is an ongoing challenge that requires ongoing nutritional support. Think of these 5 foods as long-term maintenance for your hair health, not a temporary fix. You would not take blood pressure medication until your numbers improve and then stop, expecting your blood pressure to stay normal forever. Hair health works the same way. Let me give you a few practical tips to make this easier to maintain. Many women find it helpful to meal prep once a week. Boil a dozen eggs on Sunday, so you can grab 2 each morning if you are in a hurry. Portion out ground flaxseed and pumpkin seeds into small containers, so they are easy to add to yogurt without measuring every day. Buy pre-washed spinach to save time. The goal is to make this protocol so simple and convenient that it becomes automatic, not something you have to think about or plan carefully each morning. You may be wondering about supplements. Can you just take pills containing these nutrients instead of eating the foods? This is a question doctors in the United States receive all the time, and the answer is complicated. Supplements can help if you are diagnosed with a deficiency, but they are not a replacement for whole foods when it comes to hair health. Nutrients in real food come packaged with cofactors, other vitamins, minerals, and compounds that help your body absorb and use the main nutrients. Zinc from pumpkin seeds is absorbed differently than zinc from a pill. Protein in Greek yogurt comes with probiotics that aid digestion. Iron in spinach is paired with vitamin C that enhances absorption. You cannot replicate this complex nutritional synergy with supplements. Use supplements if your doctor recommends them for specific deficiencies, but do not rely on them to replace these 5 foods. Another question women often ask is about other hair loss treatments. What about minoxidil? This FDA-approved topical treatment is commonly recommended for female hair loss. Should you use it along with this nutritional approach? This is a conversation to have with your own doctor, but I can tell you what doctors often say. If you are already using minoxidil and it is helping, there is no reason to stop. The nutritional approach we discussed works through completely different mechanisms and can complement topical treatments. In fact, some dermatologists in the United States believe that optimizing nutrition makes topical treatments more effective because you are supporting hair health from both the inside and the outside at the same time. However, if you have not started any treatment yet, many doctors suggest trying the nutritional approach first for a few months before adding anything else. That way, you will know whether diet alone is sufficient for your specific situation. I need to mention one more thing that is particularly relevant for American women over 60. Many women your age take multiple medications for various health conditions. Some medications, especially certain blood pressure drugs, antidepressants, and cholesterol-lowering medications, can contribute to hair loss as a side effect. The nutritional approach we discussed can still help, but if your hair loss started shortly after beginning a new medication, it is worth discussing this with your prescribing doctor. There may be alternative medications that do not have the same effect on hair, or your doctor may be able to adjust the dose. Never stop or change medication on your own, but do have an honest conversation about whether your prescription could be contributing to the problem. Let us talk about a realistic timeline, because this helps with motivation and consistency. In the first month, you may not see visible changes, but important things are happening inside your body. Your hair follicles are beginning to receive better nutritional support, inflammation is starting to decrease, and hibernating follicles are slowly waking up. The second month is when many women notice less hair shedding on their brush and less clogging in the shower drain. This is the first tangible sign that things are improving. By the third month, you may notice your hair feels different to the touch, slightly thicker and more resilient. Months 4 through 6 are when visible improvements typically become clear. You will see new baby hairs along the hairline and across the scalp, and overall density improves noticeably. After 6 months, improvement continues, but more gradually. By 1 year, most women who follow this protocol consistently report that their hair looks and feels significantly better than when they started. One important finding from researchers at Stanford University is that stress management plays a critical role in how well nutritional interventions work for hair health. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which can interfere with nutrient absorption and disrupt the hair growth cycle. This does not mean you need to eliminate all stress from your life, which is impossible. But it does mean that combining this nutritional approach with basic stress management, regular walking, adequate sleep, activities you enjoy, makes the protocol more effective. Your body uses nutrients more efficiently when it is not in a constant state of stress. I want to address a common concern. Some women worry that adding eggs and Greek yogurt to their daily diet will cause weight gain. The reality is that these are nutrient-dense, satisfying foods that tend to keep you full for hours. Many women actually find that eating this type of breakfast reduces their overall calorie intake throughout the day because they are not hungry mid-morning and reaching for snacks. If you are concerned about calories, you can adjust other parts of your diet, but do not skip these 5 foods in an attempt to cut calories. The nutritional value they provide for hair health is too important, and the modest calorie intake is worth the benefits you will see. Let me give you one final piece of advice straight from what doctors in the United States observe in their clinics. Take photos of your hair right now before you start this protocol. Part your hair in a few places and take clear pictures of your scalp and hairline in good lighting. Do this from multiple angles. Save these photos somewhere easy to find. Then take similar photos every 4 weeks. When you see your hair every day, gradual improvements can be hard to notice. But when you compare photos from month 1 to month 3 to month 6, the difference will be obvious and incredibly motivating. Many women say these comparison photos are what helped them stay consistent in the early weeks when visible changes had not yet appeared. This protocol is based on solid medical research from institutions such as Johns Hopkins University, Stanford University, and the University of Pennsylvania. It is built on what doctors in the United States actually recommend to their patients, not on trendy ingredients or unproven theories. Each food we discussed has been specifically studied in relation to hair health in older women, and the research supports their use. More importantly, thousands of women over 60 who have followed this exact approach have reported significant improvements in hair density, texture, and overall hair health. Now you know exactly what to do starting tomorrow morning. 2 whole eggs prepared any way you like. 3/4 of a cup of plain Greek yogurt mixed with 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed and 1/4 of a cup of pumpkin seeds. 1 cup of cooked spinach on the side every day or at least 6 days per week for a minimum of 6 months to see meaningful results. This is not complicated. It is not expensive compared to salon treatments or specialized hair products. It does not require a prescription or a doctor's appointment. It is simply 5 powerful foods that give your hair follicles exactly what they need to function properly and produce healthy, thick hair. The choice is yours, and the power is in your hands. You can continue watching your hair thin month after month, feeling frustrated and discouraged, or you can start giving your body the nutritional tools it needs to reverse this process. Remember, your hair follicles are not dead. In most cases of age-related hair loss in women over 60, the follicles are simply dormant, waiting for the right conditions to become active again. These 5 foods create those conditions. They transform your body from an environment where hair struggles to grow into one where hair thrives. I hope this information empowers you to take action. We are all in this together, and the more women who know about this approach, the more women can reclaim their confidence in hair health. Thank you for watching. and I wish you your healthiest hair yet.